So in this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about how I think Kelly Olynyk will help the Heat this year. A lot of people are saying that he was overpaid or that he's just going to be a role player, and that the Heat are scrambling to try and make up for not getting Gordon Hayward. I actually think that's not really doing the signing justice. I think Olynyk will be a lot more helpful than a lot of people realize he'll be. I think if you look at his skill set, and I think if you look at the way he plays, I think he fits right into the Heat offense. And I think he also will be a major upgrade on defense over guys like Luke Babbitt and Josh McRoberts. He's a more all-around player than those two guys who were the main power forwards at that sort of role last year, as well as Derek Williams, who played a little bit, and Okara White, who's still technically on the team but is working with the D-League right now. I think Olynyk will definitely be a better fit for the Heat. The way he shoots the ball, the way he can score off the dribble, he plays a lot better defense than any of those guys. It's going to be interesting to see how he, if he fits in correctly, but I think I'm going to point out a few things here that I think will really help the team. I have a couple clips that I've put together, and I'll link the original clips in the description of the video. So let's break down these things that Kelly Olynyk does that I think will be really helpful for the Heat this year. So while Olynyk might not be as good of a catch-and-shoot player as Luke Babbitt was, he still commands attention from the defense, and he can still camp in the corner and catch a pass and knock down a three. When guys like Dragic, Waiters, James Johnson penetrate and draw the defense in, Olynyk especially thrives with the corner threes.
The block! Isaiah trying to take it to the basket, kicks it to the corner, and Kelly.
Olynyk actually has very underrated athleticism. He's a pretty fast guy. He has good leaping ability, and as you'll see in the next clip, he's able to run with the fast break. He can be the trailer, and there have been times where he can actually even be the ball handler. This is something that the Heat were never able to get from McRoberts or Babbitt. So this will be a major upgrade for the Heat if they want to play a faster pace.
Only the better of the two conferences.
Avery Bradley feeds Olynyk, runs the court beautifully. What a play.
So one of the things Olynyk is also very underrated in is his ability to create his own shot. This is something that Josh McRoberts was somewhat able to do last season, but not very well. And Luke Babbitt, when he tried to do this, he was very poor from mid-range, had no ability to drive to the basket, and whenever the defense was able to close out on him, he basically was neutralized. So this is an area that Olynyk's quickness, ball handling, and ability to create his own shot will dramatically help the Heat offense this season.
Olynyk off the spin.
So this ties into the last point I made as well, that Olynyk is not only able to create his own shot, but he's also able to shoot off the dribble in a way that Luke Babbitt was completely unable to do, and Josh McRoberts was sort of able to do, but was very ineffective for the most part. So you'll see in the next clip, Olynyk has the ability to create a better look for himself off the dribble and also using nifty moves.
Goes. 3 and change to play here in the first half.
Don't show it all, KO. Don't show it all.
He is.
So this is an area that I think Olynyk will help the Heat the most. He is very quick, as I've discussed earlier. He has good finishing ability. He has good leaping ability. The amount of players the Heat have on their roster that can execute the pick and roll is a lot. They have Justice Winslow who can do it. They have Tyler Johnson, Goran Dragic, Dion Waiters. Even James Johnson can be the ball handler in the pick and roll. A lot of the guys on that roster can execute the pick and roll. And last season, McRoberts was sort of able to be the roll man, but he was not very good. Babbitt was never able to be the roll man. And Whiteside is obviously a dunker off the roll, but it would be nice for the team to have another guy, and Olynyk can definitely be that guy. He is a major upgrade over a lot of the people that they had in that role last year, and now that they have a guy like Olynyk, James Johnson will no longer have to be the roll man as much. So he can actually execute the pick and roll where he'll be able to use his passing or his own finishing ability. And as you'll see in the next clip, Olynyk is very, very talented at slipping the screen quickly. There are multiple occasions per game of times where you'll see him be able to penetrate the defense off the pick and roll and get an easy dunk.
Bradley. Nice look. Easy two.
So one area of Olynyk's game that is really, really underrated is his ability on defense. People seem to underestimate his speed and athleticism, and he is actually very good at closing out on shooters. He's very good at defending the paint, and he's a very smart help defender. Coach Nick from BballBreakdown a couple months back made a video explaining how Kelly Olynyk is very underrated when it comes to guarding stretch fours and also big men inside. I'm going to leave a link to that video in the description in case anyone is interested in going and seeing Coach Nick's take on it. But Olynyk will actually be a major upgrade over guys like McRoberts and Luke Babbitt. Luke Babbitt is a pretty strong guy, and he was really tough, and he tried his hardest, but his lack of athleticism and speed got him burned. He was very bad at closing out. Smaller guys could easily basically just drive right past him. And McRoberts was sort of similar. McRoberts wasn't as tough, couldn't guard bigger, stronger guys. McRoberts was a very smart defender. He was able to organize the team defense very well, but his own inability to guard basically anyone ended up making him a net negative on defense anyways. So Olynyk's smarts combined with his ability to close out on shooters and his ability to play help defense in the post as well as guard players in the post will make him a real asset for the Heat on defense in a way that they didn't have a guy like that last year in that role. On this clip, you'll see him chase down and block a shot. That won't happen very regularly with him, but it's just an example of how his speed is very underrated, his closeout is very underrated, and his awareness on the court is very underrated.
Kalinovic with the loose ball.
So in conclusion, I'm not saying Olynyk will be an all-star. I'm not saying he's going to be a legend. What I think is that Olynyk, for the deal that he got, is going to provide a major upgrade to the Heat at a position that they desperately needed an upgrade in for a fairly reasonable price. When you have guys like Timofey Mozgov, who is getting 4 years, $65 million to do way less than what Olynyk did, or guys like Chandler Parsons, who are getting 4 years, $94 million, who can't stay on the court. When you look at the Olynyk deal after thinking about things like that, it actually looks like a pretty good deal. Olynyk will be able to shoot the ball, and he won't be very much of a drop-off from Luke Babbitt. He's a smart player. He can pass the ball. He can play defense better than most people think he can. And he instantly upgrades the Heat at a position they needed that in. So I endorse this deal. I think this deal was very good for Miami. I think Pat Riley knows what he's doing. I think he knows the kind of scheme that Eric Spoelstra wants to run. And I think this is a great signing, a very underrated signing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Olynyk will do on the court for the Heat next season.